On Tuesday, something happened that has never happened before in the history of artificial intelligence. A major AI company, under direct order from the United States government, disabled access to its most advanced AI models for users outside of America. This is not a hypothetical. This is not a policy proposal. This happened, and it changes everything about how we think about AI, national security, and who gets to decide what technology the world can access. I am going to break down exactly what happened, why the government did this, and what it means for the future of AI. Let us get into it. The company is Anthropic. If you are not familiar, Anthropic was founded by former OpenAI employees who left over concerns about safety and corporate direction. They built Claude, which is widely considered one of the 3 most capable AI systems in the world, alongside OpenAI GPT-4 and Google Gemini. Anthropic has always positioned itself as the safety-first AI company. Their entire brand is built on the idea of responsible development and constitutional AI. This week, that commitment to safety was put to the ultimate test, and the result shocked everyone. Here is what happened, step by step. The U.S. Department of Commerce, acting under the authority of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, issued an order to Anthropic. The order classified Anthropic most advanced AI models as dual-use technology, subject to export controls similar to those used for advanced weapons systems and nuclear technology. Think about that for a second. AI models are now being legally classified alongside missile guidance systems and uranium enrichment technology. The order required Anthropic to immediately restrict access to their most capable models for users and organizations in certain countries, including China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Anthropic had a choice. They could comply, or they could fight. They chose to comply, and they did it immediately. Within hours of receiving the order, Anthropic issued a public statement. The language was carefully measured, but the message was clear. We are complying with the U.S. government directive while we continue to engage with policymakers on the right path forward. The reaction was immediate and intense. The AI community split into 2 camps, and the debate has been raging ever since. On one side are those who say this is a necessary step to prevent adversarial nations from using America's most advanced AI for military and surveillance purposes. The argument is straightforward. If China or Russia get access to AI systems as capable as Claude, they could use it to develop advanced cyber weapons, automate disinformation campaigns, or accelerate their own military AI programs. On the other side are those who say this is the beginning of an AI arms race that will backfire spectacularly. Their argument is equally straightforward. If the U.S. locks down its AI technology, other countries will simply build their own. And they will build it without the safety constraints that companies like Anthropic embed into their systems. Dario Amodei, Anthropic CEO, gave a closed-door briefing to Congress this week. Sources who attended say he made a nuanced argument that surprised everyone in the room. He reportedly told lawmakers that export controls might slow down adversaries in the short term, but they would accelerate foreign AI development in the long term. His recommendation was not a simple yes or no. He proposed a middle path, tiered access levels that restrict the most dangerous capabilities while keeping foundational research open. But here is what makes this situation unprecedented. The U.S. government did not just restrict sales. They restricted access to a product that was already live and publicly available. Users in affected countries who had been using Claude for months suddenly found themselves locked out. Their accounts were disabled, their API keys revoked, their data access terminated. The shutdown was not gradual. There was no warning period. It just happened. And the international response was immediate. China issued a statement through its foreign ministry condemning the move as technological hegemony. They announced an accelerated timeline for their domestic AI development program. The European Union is in an awkward position. EU countries are not subject to the export controls, but EU companies that do business with restricted countries are suddenly caught in the middle. A German manufacturing company that uses Claude to process technical documentation for their Chinese factories found themselves unable to access the tool they had integrated into their workflow. This is the complexity that simple export controls do not account for. Modern business is global. AI tools are embedded in supply chains that cross borders dozens of times. The UK government issued an unusual joint statement with Canada and Australia, expressing concern about the precedent this sets while acknowledging the legitimate security concerns. The core tension is this: AI is simultaneously a commercial technology, a national security asset, and a public good. Treating it as purely one of these things breaks the other two. What happens next? Based on what we know, there are three likely scenarios. Scenario 1. The export controls remain in place and expand. The U.S. builds a regulatory wall around its AI industry. Other nations build their own AI capabilities in response. We end up with fragmented AI ecosystems that reflect geopolitical alliances. Scenario 2. Industry pushback and international diplomacy lead to a multilateral framework. Something like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but for AI. Countries agree to shared rules about which AI capabilities should be restricted and which should be shared. Scenario 3. The controls backfire so badly that the U.S. reverses course. Foreign AI development accelerates beyond what the controls were meant to prevent. American AI companies lose their global market advantage. The policy is quietly abandoned. Based on the conversations happening in D.C. right now, the most likely outcome is a messy version of Scenario 1, followed by years of negotiation towards Scenario 2. But here is the thing that keeps me up at night. This is just the beginning. The AI models of 2026 are impressive, but they are nothing compared to what is coming. In 5 years, AI systems will be capable of things that we can barely imagine today. If we are already imposing export controls now, what happens when the technology is 100 times more powerful? The Anthropic shutdown is not just a story about one company and one order. It is the opening move in what will be the defining geopolitical struggle of the next 50 years. AI is not just another technology. It is the technology that controls all other technologies. Whoever leads in AI will lead in everything else. That is why this matters. That is why everyone is watching. And that is why what happened this week is just the first chapter of a very long story. If you want to stay informed as this story develops, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We track every development in AI policy and break it down so you understand what it actually means. In the comments, I want to hear from you. Do you think the U.S. government was right to restrict access to advanced AI? Or does this set a dangerous precedent? Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.